how. Tell me how. Tell me how. Huh?
So as a child, growing up in Jamaica, right, we did typical kid stuff, man. Like we ran around the yard, we climbed the tree, we ate the fruits. Even when we were told not to do it, it's fruit. We hungry. In our minds, it's gonna grow right back. We eating it, man. Like so, we did things because that's what kids did. None of us, I believe, did anything out of malintent or mischievous to try to cause harm or any of that. It's just like what kids do, free spirited. We see the world as this ginormous place to explore, fun, adventure. Let's figure out what this thing is, right? Let's go after it. And I remember we were told not to climb the tangerine tree in the front, and the tangerines in Jamaica, they grow like this big. And we were told not to climb it, by the person that watched over us, right? And as kids, we're like, man, we're hungry. And I'm like the fearless one in the group. So I wouldn't say dare me, but when my mind is locked in, like, I see fruit, you tell me no, but I'm hungry and you're not feeding me. I'm going to go get that fruit. So we climbed the tree. Everybody followed suit. There's four of us. We climbed the tree. We sat in the tree and we just ate tangerines until we were good. Tangerines are all done. Our guardian sees this, calls us up to the house, lines us up outside. And, in Jamaica, it's anything goes, man. Like, it's time for that whooping, right? And when we get whooped, it's what's the closest object that, we're going to use to enforce this, punishment. So I don't even remember what we got hit with that day. And again, fearless me, I'm like, just give me I didn't want to be the last one in line looking at pain, 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 right? Like, and build up the anticipation of the pain. Like, so I'm like, screw it, man. Every time we got lined up for whoopings, I went first. Like, just give it to me first. And I even found out, like, by me going first and just taking it and then willing myself not to cry, right? I didn't realize I end up gotten whooped more than everybody else because the intent was I'm going to keep going until you cried. But I wouldn't give in. I would just will myself not to cry. Then my cousin that went behind me, then, he saw me not crying and he's like, he didn't cry. I'm going to will myself. And I could see that he wouldn't cry, but he will himself not to cry. And then the third one in line, he's willing himself not to cry, getting whooped. You can see the tear coming down and we're over there cheering him on like, come on, man, you're tough. You're tough. You got this, man. You're tough, right? So then, like, the tear would come down and then the guardian would be like, okay, I got this one. And then the last one in line, before he even steps up, like, he just bust out bawling, right? And the tears are just flowing and we're like, oh man, like, come on, man. But then the thing is, because he didn't cry, he ended up not getting as much, whoopings as the rest of us, specifically me, but that's how it was, man. And, now fast forward in life, right? And what's the significant impact of this? As we fast forward in life, and I got to, teenage years where I started having girlfriends and then into adult years, um, I noticed after a certain point, like the proximity that I can get to, my girlfriend and significant other was only but so close. Like there's a part of me emotionally that was just hidden and locked away and was just completely unavailable. And it took me years to figure out what that was, um, and especially when, in every relationship, people get into arguments and they get into fights. So like the minute that, my significant other would flare up, I didn't realize that it was triggering this guardian that was this enforcer inflicting punishment. So I clearly can see that this is not this person, but the emotional like signature that was on me from the beatings, made me like distant myself in the relationship. So every time there's a flare up, flare up, distant. So over time, like now I'm like really emotionally unavailable and closed off in certain areas. And even physically, when they would try to get into certain proximity to me and wanted to get intimate, just whether just snuggle or just touch or so on and so forth, like an aggressive touch would trigger me and cause me to react a certain way. Like, no, just it's okay, man. Just sit right there. I'm here, and just don't touch me, because inside, like, my body was reliving a trauma. And again, it took me years to kind of pinpoint why I'm reacting and acting this way in relationships, or um, whenever it causes for me to get close to someone. There's always this degree of separation, because my body was just like, it just felt like it was protecting itself from harm. And then someone talk aggressive, then immediately I just went into like silent mode, like, you know what, I'm not going to engage. So yeah, a lot of self-work, self-development, self-improvement. I've been able to pinpoint and take corrective actions to fix a lot of those things. But each and every single one of us, I believe, have stories like this from our past or from some point in time in our life that was so intense that they left an emotional signature that our body learned, that causes us to just instinctively react in ways that we don't even understand, and our partners and friends and significant others may not understand. So, just treating everyone with a level of passion, and compassion, and just, and being gentle and understanding, I think is so important. And knowing that we all have things that we're overcoming and we're trying to work through, and just being patient and giving people time and space and opportunity to grow.
Thank you so much for watching this video. If you like the content that you're seeing, go ahead and click that subscribe button. Don't miss a beat when it comes to the content that we drop.